We all go through times in life where things feel a little bit dark or dim. Winter in particular can be a hard time when the world around us is literally darker with much less hours of sunlight. It can be easy to feel ourselves slip into that shadowy place. But the truth is, right now, past the winter solstice, we're actually gaining light. It might not always feel that way, but even in the darkness, there is a light that's seeping through that we can find. I'm Asia Suler of One Willow Apothecaries, and this video is here to help you find the sunshine, even when things feel dark. In our culture, we have a negative feeling about darkness. We light our homes to the extent that darkness seems like an ancient memory. And yet, darkness goes hand in hand with the depths. One of the reasons why winter is such a powerful time for meditation, inner work, shamanic journeying, is because it brings us directly into the cave. It brings us into the darkest and the deepest depths, not only of the earth, but also our psyche. I remember hearing this term shadow work and being a little bit scared by it, being like, okay, if I could avoid shadow work, I will. But now I know that shadow work is actually essential to this process of coming to know ourselves and really coming to understand why we're here and the gifts that we have to share. So I think it's important to actually redefine shadow work, because when we hear that term, we can start to feel like we're like in a scary movie or something. Shadow work is about working with what is unconscious in your psyche. So when we do shadow work, we're actually examining the things that we normally stuff away in boxes, but that now we can see. So shadow work is not about necessarily coming up against a demon within. It's coming up against these thoughts that we haven't had space or time to reflect on, including thoughts about ourselves. Shadow work can at times be tied into trauma. Oftentimes when we've experienced trauma in our life, we develop certain beliefs that perhaps at the moment really worked to keep us safe, but as time goes on, actually limits us more than helps us. Caroline Casey, the astrologer and activist, suggests that we redefine trauma as your beautiful, dangerous assignment. And I love this because all of us experience trauma at one point or another here on this planet. And trauma is not here to destroy us or take us apart or show us that we're not good. Trauma is here to give us an assignment. It's beautiful and at times it's dangerous, but it is the assignment of our soul's growth. And oftentimes the very things that we've struggled with, the shadows that have been up for us in our life, when we learn how to turn around and look at them, be with them, process them, we then become beacons of light and guidance for other people who are working through the same issues. The truth is, we cannot have the shadow without the light. Shadows only exist on this planet because of the light. When the sunlight comes and it lays upon a tree, that shadow of the tree only exists when it's a sunny day. Have you ever noticed this? On a cloudy day, we don't have shadows in the same way. So if you are in a deep shadow time, know that it's because there's so much light that is trying to come in right now, that it is highlighting what is still in the shadows of your subconscious. Because this is your beautiful, dangerous assignment, to work with what is in that shadowy realm of your unconscious, just the places that you haven't had time, space, or enough safety to actually look at, but that you do now. And so that just in looking at them and in processing what's there, we actually step into our power of who we are and the gifts that we have to share with this world. So right now we are very literally in a shadow time as Mercury is in retrograde until February 19th. We hear Mercury retrograde and we can kind of start thinking, oh my gosh, this is going to be a time where my computer's going to break and everything's going to be bad and all the communications are going to break down. But I like to think of retrogrades as actually retrieving. You're going back into the depths and you're retrieving something that was lost. So when Mercury or any planet is retrograde, what happens is that when we look at the sky, it actually looks like they're moving backwards, but they're not really. So the same could be said for you right now. It might feel like you're moving backwards in your life because you're being asked to go inside and look at the shadow, but really you're just going in to retrieve information, to retrieve awareness, to retrieve healing so that you can move forward in your life. This particular Mercury retrograde is in Aquarius. So it might be possible that right now you're being asked to look at these subconscious Aquarian parts of yourself, perhaps the part that has a lot of ideas or innovations that has maybe been blocked or stymied by your negative self-talk or ideas you have about your limits on what you can or can't do. I promise you there are brilliant new ideas that want to move through you, brilliant ways of thinking. And this is actually a powerful time to say yes to doing that work of going into the depths, of retrieving the light that's there inside of you and seeing what has been hidden from your view until now. Now, all this said, it can feel really challenging to be in the midst of a shadowy or dark time. Challenging being a little bit of an understatement. But there are things you can do when you feel like you're in the midst of the darkness. Part of my training and working with people as a guide, both in meditation and hypnotherapy, has been to help people deal with the void. So sometimes when you are guiding folks in journeys of consciousness, they will end up in what is called the void. It's a place where there's nothing, literally no thingness. It is dark. Oftentimes nothing is going on. When I'm leading people in a hypnosis session or I'm leading people in a shamanic journey, it can often feel frustrating to folks to find themselves in the void and be like, I'm not having this amazing experience. I'm only in the void. But there is a power here. In many different cultures, the void is actually the beginning of creation. That fertile darkness, like the soil, like the cosmos before the light comes in, is actually the place where life first originates. So you, in the place that you're at and feeling this darkness, it's not a lack place. It's actually the start of something new. It's not an emptiness. It's a fullness waiting to be born. So I tell this to folks when I'm guiding them in whatever capacity, that the void actually does have something to teach them. So when I'm working with people in a meditative state, I tell them to ask the void questions. Become an active participant in the void. Bring your agency, your willpower, your light, your interest to this place by continually being curious about what might be here in the void. Right now, it might look like just an expanse of darkness with nothing going on, but if we are willing to simply be with it instead of running away from it, we can see what's here. And just like in meditation, when we have that blank canvas and we feel like we're not going to get to the good stuff because we're stuck here, the more we try and resist being stuck in that void, the more we're just going to get further mired there. When you just embrace that you're in a void time or you're in a void visual, then we can actually start to work with what might be there for us. And I promise you there are going to be tiny seams of light here. There are going to be variances and textures for you to work with that you won't be able to see if you're trying to pull out or run away. Another thing that Caroline Casey says that I love is if you're drowning, point your toes and dive. And this is just another way of saying if you're in that void space, really be there. Really try to go into those depths that are there. So when I'm guiding folks, I often tell them, is it possible that you're seeing any kind of shade of color or light here? Is it possible that there might be a guide that you can call in that can help you navigate in this darkness? Because the truth is that you don't have to do it alone. And in general, if you are moving through a dark time, it is essential that you reach out, whether you're reaching out to a therapist, a friend, a counselor, or reaching out to your guides. Calling in for help isn't a sign of weakness, it's actually a sign of strength. We aren't meant to navigate the darkness all alone. We're meant to actually have it be a time where we call in our support system so that we can do this work of going into the unconscious, of going into the shadow, of going into the places that the light is highlighting for us right now. And lastly, one of the biggest sources of continual sunlight in my life are flower essences. So flower essences are the energetic imprint of a flower in full bloom, captured in pure water and diluted down so that it can work with us on a subtle, energetic, and emotional level. There is right now, I guarantee it, a flower that wants to work with you to help bring that sense of sunshine, possibility, and blooming back into your life as you work with this shadowy time. So the best way to find this flower essence is to let it pick you. One of my favorite practices is to go to a grocery store or a place where they're selling flower essences and just see which one I'm drawn to. Get out of my head and out of what I think I know about that flower essence or what I think its medicine might be, and literally just see how my body reacts to these different bottles. Oftentimes, I'll literally just let myself walk up and pick a bottle, and I keep track of my emotional landscape when I do this. For me, because I'm clairsentient, I often feel things. When I pick up that bottle, I might have an emotion come up, and oftentimes that emotion might be something that brings up a lot of feeling with it. Like it might not just be positive. It might be this emotion of feeling sadness come up, or feeling relief come up, but the relief of having tears appear. So I want you to just keep track of your body as you go and let this essence choose you. And then all you have to do is take this essence every day. I like to keep my essence on my bathroom vanity so that I remember to take it every morning and every night. And one of my students came up with this great technique of putting it on one side of your vanity in the morning, and then once you take it, switching it to the middle of the sink so that when you come in, maybe sometime in the afternoon or after you get home from work, you remember to take it again, and then moving it to the other side so right before bed, you can remember to take it one more time. And I normally take about 2 to 4 drops each time. So know that this flower essence will be a guide for you. This flower essence is an ally. You don't have to know exactly how it's working or even you know exactly what you're working on. Your role right now is just to be with what is present for you, to be with yourself, with your body as you move through this process, and to trust that the deeper the shadows go, this is an indication of just how bright that light is on the other side. So if your heart is feeling like it could use a little bit more support during this time, I have an online course called Herbs for the Heart Gate. In the course, we explore the concept of the heart as a literal gatekeeper to other realms of seeing and being. And there's also herbs that we go over specifically in this course that help to heal and support and nourish your heart. And if you'd like to receive more supportive videos and messages like this, then you can sign up on my website to be a part of the Inner Circle, where I send these videos and these reflections and these words of comfort and support directly to your inbox. So if there is something that has come up for you in the midst of dealing with a dark time that has been helpful, whether it's a word or a practice, I would love to hear about it in the comments section below so we can think about this as a kind of library that our community can turn to when things feel dim. Please know that no matter what moment you're moving through, there is so much support, love, and light here for you. The earth is holding you, and no matter what darkness you're moving through, you are not alone.